I live in the 9th most expensive city in the world. Everything is expensive. The food is expensive. The coffee is expensive. And of course, the climbing costs an absolute arm and a leg. But despite all of that, I have found what I think is not only the cheapest climbing gym in Copenhagen, but in fact, the cheapest climbing gym I've ever been to in my entire life. Let's check it out. Today we're taking a trip to Denmark's Tekniske Universitet, the technical university of Denmark to us Anglophones. And inside this brutalist triumph is a curious little climbing gym. A day pass will cost you 20 kroner, that's around 2 quid, or $2.50 if you're an American. And a semester or 6 months thereabouts will cost you between 250 and 300 kroner, depending on whether or not you're affiliated with the university and whether or not you're a student there. Quick maths on that, if you were to climb twice a week with a few days off, it would cost you about £1.50 a session, and that's about $1.80. So, what do you get for your money? I'm going to say up front that I'm not going to compare this gym like for like with commercial gyms, given that it's supported mostly by volunteers and that's why the cost is so low. But I will mention one area where this gym outcompetes any of the commercial gyms in my area, and that's the training facilities. The gym is actually part of the university complex. It's actually inside what I suppose used to be the gallery of the basketball courts. And so actually, if you can hear in the background of some of these videos, some of the squeaking of sneakers, that's where that's coming from. The big advantage of this is that it comes with all the facilities that a big sports complex has. Big changing rooms, shower rooms, lockers and all this stuff. But also the training equipment in the gym itself is better than any of the gyms around me. You have everything, and I mean everything that you need to have a great training session, even if you don't want to do any climbing at all. And honestly, this is better than half of the gyms around me. I don't understand how you can charge this much for membership and only have one resistance band of each size. Like, what's going on? They cost nothing. But here at the DTU gym, they even have a crack for you to train on. So even you can train to do Century Crag one day.
Stop resting, get on it, you lump of shit.
I'd have like friends and family around, and all you would hear was like,
Anyway, great gym, but what about the climbing? Well, my biggest criticism is that this place isn't really beginner friendly. The grading is quite complicated, and we'll get onto that in a second. But despite having all this signage that suggests this is a place welcoming to newcomers, in terms of what is set, there is almost nothing for lower level climbers. So if you're trying to get your friend into the hobby, I really wouldn't recommend bringing them here until at least they've had a taste of something a little bit easier. This really is a gym for serious people. But what isn't serious is the grading. The grades follow a color system, which is normal. I think it goes green, yellow, blue, purple, and then a bunch of stuff that I couldn't do. Now, anywhere that there's a color system, it's always quite difficult to predict where the grade boundaries are, and no matter what gym you go to, they'll always be quite broad. But here, it kind of just goes mad. The lowest grade is anywhere from maybe V0 to V2, and it just gets more and more broad there. The blue grade, for example, goes anywhere from easily flashable V2 level climbs to stuff that I couldn't even pull on the first few moves. This is understandable because, as I said, I doubt a lot of these routes are set by professional route setters. They're really set by volunteers. And also, since anyone can add or change routes, in theory, people can remove holds from problems. People can add holds into problems, to make them easier, and so you can't necessarily guarantee that the problem you're climbing is the same problem that was originally graded. That said, this really is a small nitpick. It doesn't really bother me that much. I like the climbs here. They're quite strengthy. A lot of them are just completely missing footholds entirely, and it's those old school lacquered walls that are incredibly smooth. So often the solution is just pull harder rather than anything intelligent, but that really makes for a nice contrast to some of the other gyms I climb at, where sometimes things can often be a bit too flowy, you know. It's nice to have a battle sometimes. There is one legitimate complaint that I will sustain though, and that's that this place is filthy. You do not need to bring chalk if you go to this gym. There is just piles of chalk and dust everywhere. Seriously guys, let's team up. Give me a hoover and I will hoover this place for you. But if you're the kind of person who is sensitive to these kind of things, then I would just don't go. The other small thing that isn't really necessarily a problem but might put you off is that this gym is very small, which is why some of this footage that I'm showing you might look a bit weird. If you don't like climbing with a lot of people, definitely avoid at peak time. This place gets very busy, very packed, and why wouldn't it? It's convenient and it's a great place to train, so just bear that in mind if you do decide to go. And now that all my griping is out of the way, I can tell you the one thing that I absolutely love about climbing in this gym, and that is the features. I love climbing walls that are interesting shapes and have interesting features. They just automatically inject so much personality into anything that is set there. And the walls in this place are insane. Despite how small the gym is, it just everywhere that you climb is a new terrain, a new feature. The absolute king of it is this weird barn-like construction that they've built on the far end of the gym that kind of slopes gradually into this cave and up to this skyline. I absolutely adore it. Is there anything more motivating than climbing upwards towards a glowing light in the sky? It's incredible, and that's what a gym like this is all about. It's about the strange shapes, it's about the grit, it's about the battle, and you will either succeed or fall to your death. Cool place, check it out. If you enjoyed this video, why not check out my review of another Copenhagen climbing gym here, or if you want, roll the dice with the YouTube algorithm over here.